white.
I'm only white?
Yeah.
Like I said,
You're lighter color.
everybody in this car
No, it's not. Not you. Not you.
is black and white.
No, you're not. You're just white. You're just white.
Y'all not letting me explain.
All right.
Okay, thank you. Let me talk. It's not about the color of your skin. That's not what it has to do with. It has to do with your parents. So granddad is black, correct?
Correct.
Granddad is black. Grandma is white. They had me. So they came together and had me. It doesn't matter how I came out looking, but that means I am mixed with a black culture and a white culture. Black and white parents, and I'm mixed. So, it's not about coloring on the paper and how I look and all that. It's not about mixing colors like that. It's about who your parents are and where you came from.
So, Mommy.
Yes?
Because you grew up like that. So, you're not only white, but you're black and white, but are you more, like, whiter?
I mean, I'm equal, but it's just how I look. Like, when you...
It looks like you're more whiter.
Okay, it doesn't...
All right, Shalom. Kal halayim la Yahweh b'Hashem Yahawashi Waha Raha Kwadash. All praises and glory go to you, Lord. Double honors and respect go to our apostles, bishops, elders, teachers, the men of great millstone. To you I say Shalom. Salutations to the hopefully elect. It's your brother Amriah. And as you can see, we have an example of a confusion of face or a speckled bird Israelite. All right. Which the men of great millstone teach eloquently about this subject constantly. All right. I don't know about these other Israelite groups, but the men of great millstone, starting with Elder Apostle Tahar on down, have gone into this subject many times. And this is where we're touching on today, because this lady looks so much so like an Edomite to her children. They called her white. All right. But so-called white people tend to be Edomites, all right? Some of them are confusion of faces. But this is a very light example, because I looked up many different people who have Israelite fathers and, heathen or foreigner mothers. And this is a subject that we're going to touch on today, dealing with why this is so, all right? Now, I'm here in Deuteronomy chapter 28 because our people being scattered is a curse. All right, our people being the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and North American Indians, the original 12 tribes of Israel, have been cursed by Yahweh, whom you ignorantly call God, and castaways, okay? Scattered among the heathens, all right, as a curse. So coming back looking like the other nations is a portion of that curse. This is Deuteronomy chapter 28, and I'm not going to go to verse 15 where it says, if you're disobedient to the law. We're getting right to the meat of the matter. Verse 64, it says, and Yahweh shall scatter you among all people, from one end of the earth even unto the other. This is a curse, people. All right? The fact that that lady looks like likened to an Edomite, a so-called white person, is a curse among the Israelites. Though her father is an Israelite, she happens to look more like the other nations, so much so that her own children couldn't tell the difference. They're telling her, you're white. All right? And the boy behind her, clearly Israelite, that's her son, was confused. But let's get some clarification on the matter. First of all, it doesn't deal with both parents like this lady misspoke, not understanding about. All right, Israel must understand that the scriptures have already laid structure. And the structure is men, they lay their pedigrees by the house of their fathers. All right. So this is a blood lineage thing through the house of your father. For an example, let's go ahead and jump to Numbers. All right. Just for edifications. And this is Numbers chapter 1 and verse 18. Actually, verse 17, it says, and Moses and Aaron took these men which are expressed by their names. All right. And they assembled all the congregation together on the first day of the second month, and they declared their pedigrees after their families by the house of their fathers, according to the number of their names, of the names from 20 years old and upwards by their polls. So when they polled them, they were to declare their house of their father. All right. This is how the Lord has connected them through blood lineage, through the house of their fathers. All right. Not through the house of their mothers. All right. And I'm not saying your mother doesn't matter. What I'm saying is you can lay a seed in foreign soil, is still going to produce whatever seed comes from the father. All right. Now, Jeremiah, we're going to go ahead and switch to Jeremiah real quick, just to further bring this point home. Jeremiah 34 and around about verse 11 or so. Actually, verse 13, it says, "Thus saith Yahweh, the power of Israel, I made a covenant with your fathers in the day that I brought them forth out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondmen, saying, at the end of 7 years, let ye go every man his brother and Hebrew." All right. And I'll stop there. By the house of their fathers. All right. He brought them forth out of Egypt with a covenant with their fathers. And the covenant goes down through the men, the bloodline men of that lineage. All right. So, yes, this lady is an Israelite because her father is an Israelite, though she may look like the other nations. And this is so complex in these last days because salvation is really only for Israel, only for the elect of the nation of Israel, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, North American Indians, for the most part, as well as you confusion of face, speckled bird Israelites. All right. And again, a lot of Israelites are going to look like the other nations because of the curses that will befall Israel for being disobedient to the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Holy Scriptures. All right. You're not to express your blood lineage through your mothers. Men and women must be identified through their father's pedigree, through their father's lineage. Jeremiah 34 and 13 again, "Thus saith Yahweh, the power of Israel, I made a covenant with your fathers in the day that I brought them forth out of the land of Egypt." All right. It is for this reason, all right, that the Heavenly Father is sending forth his prophets in these last days, is to warn the elect of the nation of Israel, as well as others, the two-thirds of the nation of Israel, as well as heathens, that the end is here. That's why the Lord have sent forth his mouthpieces, the prophets, in these last days. All right. There's an awakening occurring amongst Israel, amongst the elect of the nation of Israel, the hopeful elect. All right. Those that are looking to be redeemed by Yahushua. All right. And this means that in these last days, that covenant that was made with the father's lineage is that much more the importance, because without it, there's no possible chance to receive salvation from breaking the law, statutes, and commandments, which only the Israelites are under those curses. You heathens are going to be punished for completely other reasons, for the controversy of Zion, for your treatment of the nation of Israel, as well as your paganistic practices and customs. All right. Now, Jeremiah is a good place to stay in. Let's go to Jeremiah 12, and I'll begin at verse 7. Further bring the point home. "I have forsaken mine house." This is the Lord Yahweh speaking. All right. "I have forsaken mine house. I have left mine heritage. I have given the dearly beloved of my soul into the hand of her enemies." Right. All right. As curses pursuant to Deuteronomy chapter 28. The Israelites were scattered, all right, raped, robbed, pillaged, and subjected to oppression under the enemies they have been sold to. Verse 8, "Mine heritage is unto me as a lion in the forest. It crieth out against me, therefore have I hated it." All right, so the Lord have turned his back on Israel. This is a portion of the curses. This is why they are being treated so vilely by their enemies, all right, which is coming to an end very soon, all right. Verse 9, mine heritage is unto me as a speckled bird. The birds round about are against her, right, because she's different. And a speckled bird, if you ever look those pictures up, which I have, and I'll leave that for you to do, it's a combination, all right, of different colors and various designs on the bird, all right? Meaning his people are going to come back looking like all nations. Again, verse 9, mine heritage, my people, is unto me as a speckled bird. The birds round about are against her, right? The other nations are confederate against us, starting namely with Esau, Edom, the so-called self-proclaimed white man devil that rules in the world today, which these children just so happen to think their mother was a portion of, and she's trying to set the record straight with them, however mislearned or unlearned she was. All right, so we're just setting the record straight. One, you have to be an Israelite through the lineage of your fathers. All right, it goes through the fathers, through the men of the family. All right. Number two, because of the curses, and it is a curse to come back to be an Israelite, to look like the other nations, you are most definitely under the curses. All right. But it is a curse from Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai. And this is going to be cleared up when the Lord returns. All right. The elect are saved. The world is put back in correct working order. Then the Israelites will get their original color back. Okay. Until then, I mean, let's just go ahead and finish it out. Let's grab Daniel chapter 9. All right. Verse 7. O Yahweh, righteousness belongeth unto thee, but unto us confusion of faces, as at this day, the men of Judah, and to the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and to all Israel that are near and that are far off, though through all countries whither thou hast driven them, because of their trespass that they have trespassed against thee. O Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, to us belongeth confusion of face, to our king, to our princes, to our fathers, because we have sinned against you. To Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai belong mercies and forgiveness, though we have rebelled against him. Neither have we obeyed the voice of Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai to walk in his ways, which he set before us by his servants, the prophets, right? And this is what it means to be disobedient to his word, all right? The Lord sent forth his commandments, his laws, and his prophets. You stoned and killed the prophets, all right? You thought scorn of his laws, statutes, and commandments. And ultimately, now we find ourselves on the bottom, scattered in all nations, coming back looking like quite literally anything. And this is just a very mild case example of it. Confusion of faces are Israelites through the bloodlines of their fathers, all right? Though they may happen to look like the other nations. A good example of this is Blake Griffin's son. All of them are Israelites, though gradually dealing with the other nations' women's. They now look, the grandson looks completely like an Edomite. Shalom.